In 2008, Elon Musk was almost out of money. His rocket company had failed 3 times. His car company was on the edge of bankruptcy. He had gone from multimillionaire to borrowing money for rent. Today, that same man is worth billions and is building rockets to Mars. So how did a bullied kid from South Africa become one of the most powerful entrepreneurs on Earth? This is the real story of Elon Musk, from broke to billionaire. Elon Musk is often in the news for his tweets, for his companies, for his crazy ideas. But behind the memes and headlines, there is a story of extreme risk, painful failures, and insane determination. To understand Elon today, we need to go back to where it all started. Not in Silicon Valley, not in New York, but in a quiet corner of South Africa. Elon Musk was born in Pretoria, South Africa, in 1971. As a child, he wasn't the loudest or the strongest. He was the kid in the corner, reading books for hours. While most children spent their time playing, Elon was lost in worlds of science fiction, physics, and computers. By the age of 12, he had taught himself how to code and even created a simple video game called Blastar, which he sold to a magazine for a few $100s. But his childhood was far from perfect. At school, Elon was severely bullied. One day, a group of boys beat him so badly that he ended up in the hospital. At home, his parents' relationship was difficult, and after they divorced, his connection with his father became complicated and painful. Yet in all this chaos, one thing remained constant. Elon was obsessed with big questions. Questions like, how will humanity survive in the future? Can we live on other planets? How can technology change everything? Those questions would one day shape his destiny. By the late 1980s, Elon knew he had to leave South Africa. He didn't agree with the political system, and he wanted to be where the future was being built. At 18, he left for North America, first to Canada, then to the United States. He studied physics and economics, but more importantly, he fell in love with a new revolution, the internet. In the mid-1990s, very few people understood how big the internet would become. Elon did. He didn't want a normal job. He wanted to build something. Elon's first company was called Zip2. It helped newspapers put their content and business directories online, something extremely new at that time. He lived like a true startup founder, sleeping in the office, showering at a local gym, working almost all day and night. After years of struggle, Zip2 was sold. Elon walked away with his first major fortune of over $20 million. Most people at this point would relax, buy a big house, travel, retire early. Elon did something else. He put his money into a new idea, X.com, an online banking and payments company. That company later merged and transformed into what the world now knows as PayPal. In 2002, PayPal was sold to eBay, and Elon's share was around $150 million. He was rich, very rich. But this is not the point where the story ends. This is where it truly begins. With $150 million in his bank account, Elon could have enjoyed an easy life. Instead, he asked himself a question. What are the most important problems for the future of humanity? His answer came in 3 parts. Space, we should become a multi-planet species. Energy, we must move to sustainable energy. Internet, we need better, wider access to information. From these ideas, Elon invested almost his entire fortune into 3 risky ventures: SpaceX, a private rocket company; Tesla, an electric car company; and SolarCity, a solar energy company started with his cousins. At that time, most people thought he had lost his mind. Space companies went bankrupt all the time. Electric car startups had failed again and again. Solar was slow and expensive. Elon wasn't just starting businesses, he was starting impossible businesses. By 2008, the situation was critical. SpaceX had launched 3 rockets. All 3 had failed. Each rocket cost tens of millions of dollars. If the fourth launch failed, the company would probably die. At the same time, Tesla was struggling. Production issues, high costs, and the global financial crisis were pushing the company to the edge of bankruptcy. Elon had poured almost all his PayPal money into these companies. He later said there was a moment where he had to choose. Do I split the remaining money between Tesla and SpaceX so both might survive, or do I let one die to save the other? He decided to fight for both. He borrowed money for his personal expenses. He faced intense stress, criticism, and doubt. Many people called him a fool who would lose everything. Then, something incredible happened. SpaceX's fourth rocket launch finally succeeded. The rocket reached orbit. Shortly after, NASA awarded SpaceX a major contract. The company was saved. Almost at the same time, Tesla secured emergency funding just days before it would have collapsed. In one of the worst years of his life, when everything seemed to be falling apart, Elon's companies survived. He went from almost broke to back in the game. After 2008, things didn't suddenly become easy, but the tide had turned. SpaceX kept improving its technology. In 2012, it became the first private company to send a spacecraft to the International Space Station. Later, SpaceX achieved what many thought was science fiction: reusable rockets that could land back on Earth, ready to fly again. This dramatically reduced the cost of space travel. Tesla, on the other hand, turned electric cars from a joke into a dream. The Model S showed that electric cars could be fast, beautiful, and desirable. Over time, Tesla expanded into mass-market vehicles, batteries, and energy storage. Investors who laughed at Elon in the early years now watched as Tesla's value exploded. At one point, he became the richest person in the world. From PayPal money to almost losing it all, to building some of the most valuable companies on the planet. It's easy to look at Elon Musk today and see only the billions, the fame, and the rockets. But behind his story hides some powerful lessons. He was willing to risk everything for what he believed mattered. He didn't just use his money to live comfortably, he used it to build. He continued even when experts, media, and investors said he would fail. Of course, Elon is not perfect. He is controversial. People argue about his management style, his tweets, his decisions. But whether you like him or not, his story from bullied bookworm to billionaire builder shows one thing clearly. Dreaming big is not enough. You must be ready to bet big, suffer big, and keep moving when the world is sure you will fail. From a quiet boy in South Africa, to sleeping in an office building his first startup, to almost going broke funding rockets and cars. Elon Musk's journey proves that sometimes the line between madness and genius is very thin. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more business and success stories, and tell us in the comments whose story should we cover next. Because behind every billionaire, there's a story the world needs to hear.